Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Memorial Day weekend. It is Saturday, May 27th. I know yesterday I struggled with the date, but yes, today is Saturday, May 27th, 2023. I'm here on the Holy Land, just spending time with God, which I've actually already done before coming on. I won't be here today long. One, because my apostle, Queen Belema Abili, is on live right now. And two, because I have cold symptoms right now, and I'm feeling a little partly cloudy, but I know I'm healed in my body. And I just need to get some rest. I haven't really been sleeping well, because of my bed bug situation. I haven't seen any recently, knock on wood, but still, it makes me paranoid just thinking that they're still present in that house. Anyway, I'm here to the glory of God, and this is just going to be a quick word of encouragement to those of you who are servants of God, those of you who are Christians in the field, from Matthew chapter 28. And it actually was the verse of the day from the YouVersion Bible, daily Bible devotional, and it spoke about us having winning disciples for Christ, going into all nations and just teaching them and baptizing them in the name of the Father. So making disciples and making disciples, teaching them, and baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's just a portion of our Christian duty. And I am just honored that, I feel like I am fulfilling that portion of making disciples by being on here and teaching. I may not be baptizing you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but I believe that God has led me to come on as a teacher. Some people say preacher, but I just prefer teacher. Preferably you all learning from me. Hope the gnats don't kick up. But yeah, that is just, like I said, a small portion of our Christian duty, to go into all nations. And that means exactly that, going into all nations. So like wherever God sends you, whatever country where God sends you, where he plants your feet, or maybe even not plant your feet, but where he sends you for a season, that is part of your all nations. Even if it's within the United States and you go from state to state, that's part of your all nations. I remember when I was a travel nurse, I felt honored that I could go to these different states and do the things that I love, travel and do my nursing, fulfill my nursing obligations, and spend considerable time in the local church, wherever I would go, or wherever God would send me. My last place of assignment as a travel nurse was in Tuba City, Arizona. I don't know if you all are familiar where that is. I didn't know where it was when I got the call to have the phone interview in 2019. I was like, first I thought the nurse manager was saying Tucson. So I was like, oh, okay, Tucson. No, Tucson and Tuba City are two opposite. All I heard was two, I guess, and pitted as Tucson, but it wasn't even Tucson. They're like in opposite directions. Tucson is like southeast Arizona, roughly, and Tuba City is northeastern Arizona, near the New Mexico border. It's not too far from the New Mexico border, probably like about an hour from the New Mexico border. And so, but I accepted that assignment, not even knowing where the heck I was going. But I've always told God, send me, I'll go. And you know what? He sent me to a place where I never thought that I would love being a temporary residence of, because that's basically what I was, a temporary residence there. But I loved it. I met and I served, I don't know if I ever shared this, but I served the Navajo, which was the largest Native American population, but the Navajo Nation, the Hopi Nation of Indians, Native American Indians, and also Paiute. I think I'm saying that correct. That's the one I always get messed up. But there was like three major Native American populations in Tuba City. those were the three. Navajo, of course, like I said, being the largest. And oh my gosh, they are like so accommodating and welcoming. I felt like I was home away from home. It was such an awesome experience to the point where I stayed there for 3 years before, that's where I moved back to Columbus from last year, from Tuba City, Arizona. But I had an awesome experience. I had an awesome assignment while I was there. And I met so many people. The culture is so rich and beautiful. And I embraced it. I'm supposed to be teaching myself how to speak Navajo, because the Navajo Nation, they have their own language, and it's called Navajo. I have not, it's beyond Yate. I have not advanced beyond Yate, which means hello. I probably have, but I've forgotten it, because I started a notebook of my Duolingo lessons. I didn't do too well. I still have the app on my phone. This is shameless. I still have the app on my phone. I still get the reminders to do my Navajo lesson. Even the little Duolingo app rep, icon rep gets upset with me. It's like, do you have 5 minutes to do your Navajo lesson? But anyway, y'all, I may have to sneeze on occasion. I am so congested. I've taken my medication to help curb some of these symptoms, but the generic brand never is as strong as the regular brand. So I took some Dayquil, the generic Walmart brand of Dayquil, but it worked for probably an hour or two. And needless to say, I'm still sniffling. I still have nasal drainage. It didn't dry up anything. Didn't dry up this congestion, like I said, for about an hour, and that's been it. But anyway, going back to going to all nations and, making disciples and teaching them, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I necessarily didn't do any of that while I was there, but I did accept the go, and I went. And because I became a part of the local church, not as a member per se, but just as a visiting guest while I was there, I got to know the Pastor Eric Key, and his beautiful wife, Tracy, and their 3 beautiful children, Caden, Silas, and the little queen, or princess, I would say, Ava. Just loved them, missed them as well. They were the first family of the church, well, the only family of the church as part of the first family. And all the other, members of the congregation, just love them. It was not a large congregation, but it was really close-knit and felt like family. Pastor Eric's teachings, they were just simplistic, and I mean, he is truly a man of God. But I think what his frustration was is that nobody was really consistent, as far as attendance. But it is what it is. Only God can bring the increase. And I know every Sunday he would pray for the increase. And even to this day, on occasion, I would pray for the same thing for him, because I know it can be frustrating, because he and his family, they commuted every Sunday from Flagstaff, which is south of Tuba City, and it was about an hour and some change away from Tuba City, and they would come like faithfully every Sunday, every week, sometimes multiple times during the week, because there was Bible study on, I believe it was, no, that wasn't Bible study. Oh, I'm kind of forgetting the schedule. I think Sunday night sometimes there was Bible study, I believe, or was that, Tuesday was Bible study, Monday was a recovery type program, and I actually became a part of that every Monday until COVID, and then that stopped because there was no in-person, and then the Navajo Nation had very strict rules and regulations about meeting in person. So we met on Mondays for the recovery type program, and that's where you could, as Pastor Eric would say, any hurts, hang-ups, and something else he would say. His alliteration was so awesome. But it was one of those like group discussions where you can just kind of share what you're going through, but it was structured. It wasn't just we all just sat together and just talked every Monday. No, it was a structured program. And I found it very helpful to discuss some things that I was dealing with, and didn't even realize that I was, but it was very helpful to me, very therapeutic spiritually to me. And I loved the group members that came, the regulars. Sometimes we would have the strays, but everyone was welcome. And then Tuesday night was our Bible study night. I always loved that as well. And then we did one of my favorites, because I love to eat. Potluck Sunday was every first Sunday. So that was like our church itinerary, weekly itinerary. And outside of the movie nights for the kids, the teen nights, and all that. But during the summertime would be movie night at the church. It was like this, I don't know what you would call it, I guess it wasn't like a screen that you would see in a movie theater, but it was like this wooden structure where you can use like a projector or something to show the movie. And we would sit outside in our portable chairs, and there would be refreshments, and we'd just sit outside and enjoy the movie. And they were all faith-based, or at least family-based, primarily family-based children's videos. It was so awesome, so amazing. And I do kind of miss that, but I'm in another chapter here back in Columbus. So, and looking forward to this next chapter spiritually for me here in Columbus. But yeah, going into All Nations, that for me was such a culturally different experience, but it was so awesome. And like I said, I do miss it. I do miss that sense of close-knit family that I had there. But on the other hand, I'm beginning to have here back in Columbus with Queen Williams Ministry School of Power. It's not like how it was in Arizona, but to the glory of God, it must wait till that time, I guess. So yeah, answer the call of God. And when you answer that call of God, wherever he sends you, obey him. Just accept the call. Some of us, we run from the call of God on our lives, but God will apprehend you eventually. And you would have to say yes to the call that's upon your life. I believe I'm walking in my call. I have different levels of callings on my life, if that's verbally correct. But yeah, it's just not regularly restricted to just one thing. We may have several callings on our lives, just like for me, I'm a nurse, I'm a writer, and I'm a evangelist / missionary, so minister in that sense. So yeah, we have like different levels of callings, or different callings on our lives. But once you answer the call of God for your life, and you obey God and obey his word and his will for you, yeah, you become that one that will win souls to Christ, will make disciples, baptize them, teaching them, all in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the baptizing part. But I believe all of it is for the glory of God and for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Whether we're, making the disciples, that's all for God, the teaching and the baptizing. So those three components of what our purpose is when we go to these nations is not about us at all. It's all about God and what his will is for us while we are there. And God sometimes will not allow you to stay in a certain place for long. Sometimes it's just for a period of time. It's just for a season. And then he'll have you, once that assignment is completed, then he'll have you advance and go somewhere else. And it may not always be somewhere that's glamorous. Trust me, because the 4 missions trips that I've been on thus far in my life, the first being in Costa Rica, then followed by Ecuador, Argentina, and El Salvador, 2017 through 2020, basically, those 3 years. 3 years, but 4 places, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. But yeah, so for my 4 assignments as a medical missionary at the time, we weren't in places that were like with modern accommodations at all. We were in remote areas in the jungle among indigenous populations. where in many places there were no running water, no electricity, no bathroom facilities. The jungle was your bathroom. Make sure you have your baby wipes, is all I can say. Or in some places, it was like they dug a hole in the ground. That was your toilet. But don't go there with an attitude that you are superior to them because they don't have modern accommodations. That's part of their culture. You are a guest. You are a guest in their country. You are a guest in their community. Don't go there with an attitude that you're better or superior, because you're not. You are being sent as a servant of God. You're being sent to embrace the culture, to embrace the people, and to do what God has sent you there to do. You're not there to have a population contest. That's not what it's about. It's truly about the will of God. So when I was in those countries, oh my God, I loved every aspect of my missions trip. From the beginning to the end. I love the people whom I was a part of the medical team. I love them. I love serving beside them and with them, and we accomplished a lot. The medical clinics that we participated in, it really helped the indigenous population because they don't always have access to health care. And that was the intention of us going, to help the local pastors who wanted to bring health care and bring awareness to health issues to his congregation. And so the missionaries who served that area invited, I think I shared this on one of the videos, how, excuse me, the mission trips that I went on were sponsored through the Assembly of God World Missions organization. And that's what I love about them, because they're so big on missions trips, on missions, period. And so the missionaries were a part of Assemblies of God and that particular World Missions group organization. So they invited, like, the church at the time that I participated with was back home in South Carolina, Faith Assembly of God. So that's how I got started on doing my mission trip. So I am looking forward to whenever God sends me out again. I don't know when that will be, but whenever he does send me out again, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I haven't been on a mission trip in 3 years now, since 2020. Thanks to Miss Coronavirus. Hey, God, she messed that up for me. She messed it up for a lot of us. Lena's looking at me. But anyway, to God be the glory. Like I said, when you are in a foreign country, a foreign nation, a third world nation, and in the indigenous population, be the best servant of God that you can be. Do whatever it is that's required of you. Whatever it is that God is asking you to do, whatever it is the local pastor there is asking you to do, because you're there to be a help, not a hindrance to that population. And you're there to be a godly example, especially, so just put your best, as we say here, put your best foot forward and reflect the God that you say that you serve. And represent God well. God is a God of excellence, so we ought to be the same. We ought to be servants of God, and we ought to serve with excellence, and like Jesus, with a heart of compassion and pure love towards God's people and God's children and the things of God. So I just wanted to share that, again, Matthew chapter 28, I think it's verse 18 through 20, I believe. But yeah. So go into all the nations, accept the call, teaching, baptizing in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and making disciples. Well, making disciples, of course, is first. And then you teach and then baptize, So to God be the glory. I hope this word has been helpful. I know it's short. Like I said, I'm just recovering from some cold symptoms, and I just need to go rest. And as I'm resting, I'm going to tune into my Apostle Queen Balimzi, Apostle Queen Balima Abili of Queen Balimzi Ministries, School of Power to the world. So anyway, thank you guys as usual for tuning in. I love you with the love of God, and I pray that you have a safe and fun-filled Memorial Day weekend. Don't do anything crazy. You only have one life to live, but live it to the fullest and to your best, but in moderation and in safety. Always put safety first. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. May the love of God just consume you and overtake you. All right. So be blessed. Thank you for watching again. I think I probably just said that 3 times. I don't know. The gnats are coming out too. Thank you for watching. Okay, now 4 times. Like, share, comment if you like to, if you want to. And thanks for being a blessing to His Vessel of Gold Ministries on YouTube. God bless you. Bye.